Hey there, my name is Yogita and you're watching Yogilogy. Today we'll be doing a very important topic for Life Science CSIR NET. If you are trying to prepare for this exam, then definitely you should cover this topic, that is Hardy-Weinberg's principle, because many of the questions are directly asked and these questions are very simple. First we will see what is Hardy-Weinberg's principle and then we'll solve the questions. So let's jump to the slide. Okay, so what is Hardy-Weinberg's equilibrium? Basically, it is a formula or it is applied to populations that are not evolving. Okay, and in real situation, if we see, all the populations are evolving because evolutionary forces are acting on this population. So whichever populations are not evolving, basically they are following this Hardy-Weinberg's equilibrium. So which are the principles of Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium that a population has to follow? So to be called as it is following Hardy-Weinberg's equilibrium. Okay, so we'll see the next slide. So here you can see these are the 5 agents of evolutionary change. So if in any population there is mutation, there is gene flow, there is non-random mating, there is genetic drift, that is the population size is small, okay, and selection, okay, some kind of selection is favoring some kind of triads or genes, okay, so that these are the evolutionary changes that are occurring in an population, okay. So let's just move to this slide. Okay, we'll see each one of them. So mutation and variation, yes. If mutation and variation is occurring on a population, basically mutation will not cause a change in the population immediately, but yes, after many mutations, okay, many neutral mutations, one mutation will be there that may cause the population to change. But it is a very long process, and it is like it is a very rare chance, and it will take a lot of time. So mutation and variation, basically it creates variation and hence it can change the gene pool, okay. So next we can see on this picture how a new allele, okay, here you can see how this new allele basically is introduced due to mutation in a population. Next we can see gene flow. Now what do you mean by gene flow? If there is some individuals coming into a population, so here you can see how an individual, okay, comes to a population, or some may leave the population, okay, migration of species, immigration of species, emigration of species, basically is going to cause a change in the gene pool. The number of genes that are there is going to change in that population, okay. So gene flow is one of the reason, or emigration is one of the reason for the change to occur, okay, evolutionary change to occur. So next here you can see how these genes are arriving and how these alleles basically, okay, how these alleles are arriving and how these alleles are leaving, and that's how you can see the original population will be different from the now current population. The next one is non-random mating. So when there is non-random mating, basically when there is sexual selection, okay, it is going to change the population pool. It is going to change the population pool because it is like some individuals are selecting their partners. Okay, so if this is happening, it is called as non-random mating, wherein they can mate with only specific, like like short heighted people will mate with only short. There is a preference. Okay, tall will mate with only tall heighted people. Okay, something like that. It is called as non-random mating, okay, when this parameter is free, okay, there is no choice given, then it is called as random mating. But when someone makes a choice, no, this is my mate, okay, this is having a certain color, so I like this, okay, so that is like it is called as non-random mating. So over here you can see this blue color which is there, okay, this is the original alleles that were present, but because of sexual selection the blue color is more preferred maybe, and that's why you can see that because of sexual selection the blue color allele is getting more in that population pool, and that's why you can see more of this blue. So next is genetic drift. Now basically when we are talking about genetic drift, it applies to a larger population. It applies to a smaller population. Okay, basically when a population is large, you cannot have something as genetic drift. But when the population becomes small, which are the reasons for the population to become small? So you can see one that is there, that is founder's effect. Okay, here you can see on this, there are few, on this you can see, this is the mainland and this is the island. So over here you can see equal 50% population is yellow color birds and 50% population is red color birds. But when this species, only one red color is a red color bird is migrating to an island and there it is populating that island. So you can see a shift of the population. Okay, first it was 50% and now what has happened is suddenly it has become 100% red. So this kind of chance event wherein because of migration or maybe because of some disaster, something. Okay, so the second one that is there, that is bottleneck event, that is because of some disaster or some event that reduces the amount of gene pool that is there. Okay, the alleles will go missing. So here you can see the red alleles are basically missing from the final population. That is the bottleneck effect. That disaster has removed the red allele and hence it is not there in the next generation. So this kind of effect that we can see in a population is called as genetic drift, and this basically happens when the population size is small. Okay, so here you can see because of population size how the initial population and the final population can change. Okay, so next slide we can go. Natural selection. Now here you can see the peppered moth that is there. Okay, because of natural selection, there can be a directional selection, and the nature is favoring one kind of individual, and that's why that individual is able to reproduce more. Okay, and that's why it is surviving. Okay, it is fittest. It is the fit to survive kind of individual. Okay, and that population is going to grow in size. So you can see because of natural selection, maybe here you can see the white color spears that are there have increased because of natural selection. Okay, they may be camouflaging well with the environment and hence they are not predated by the predators. Sorry. So that's why you can see from here it is changing to this. So Hardy-Weinberg's equilibrium or population. Okay, so what are the criteria for a population to be called as Hardy-Weinberg's population? We have to remove all these agents of evolutionary change that we just considered. Okay, first of all, the population should be large, so there shouldn't be any genetic drift occurring in that. Second, there shouldn't be no migration. Okay, no immigration, no emigration of species, no mutation. Okay, then there should be random mating. Okay, and that is no sexual selection should be there, and last is no natural selection. So everything when you say no, it is basically yes, that population is now following the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium and it is not going to change forever. Okay, and that's why it is called as a hypothetical situation. Okay, and basically this Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium principle that is there, we used to calculate the allelic frequencies of a population. So let's see which question has been asked in, like, I have just I have a paper over here. You can see this question that has appeared. Okay, this is CSIR Net Life Science 2019 and this question has appeared for 4 marks. Okay, so what this question is saying. Okay, let me just move to the next screen. Oh, so what this question is saying over here, you can see the Hardy-Weinberg principle states that allele frequencies in a population will remain constant over generations if certain assumptions are met. Random mating, mate choice, small population size, large population size, lack of mutation, and directional selection. So the question here they are asking is which of the above factors will cause changes in allelic frequencies over generation. So this question we can answer in 2 ways. First way is that which are the principles that apply to Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. No mutation, random mating, no immigration, no emigration, no natural selection. Okay, so these will apply to Hardy-Weinberg's principle. And which are the forces of evolution? Again, when we talk about mutation, yes, it is a force of evolutionary change. Non-random mating, it is a force of evolutionary change. Yes, okay. So that way we can try to solve this question. So first answer they are giving is random mating. So in Hardy-Weinberg principle, is random mating one of the principle? Yes. It is random mating. Non-random mating is the is a evolutionary force. Okay. Then second one, mate choice. No, mate choice is not our option. Small population size. No, if the population is small, genetic drift will occur. Large population size. Yes, this principle occurs to the Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Lack of mutations. Yes, yes, lack of mutation, right? Okay, there shouldn't be any mutation. Okay, and directional selection, no, there should be no selection. So A, D, and E basically are the principles that we apply for Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. Okay, so random mating, large population size, and lack of mutations. So what the question is asking us, which of the above factors will cause changes in allelic frequencies over generations? So this will not cause changes. So which will cause changes? B, C, and F. That is, if there is non-random mating, if there is genetic drift due to small population size, and if there is directional selection, that is natural selection is acting on a population, then it is going to change in its population, allelic population. Okay, so B, C, and F is your answer. So let me check over here. A, D, and F. A, C, and E, no. B, D, and F, no. B, C, and F, yes. So this is the right answer. So we have just seen that it is so easy. Okay, even the slides that I had put, there are too many slides. Okay, these many slides are not required, but I thought just showing the last slide and the answer will not make proper justice to this presentation. So I had put all that slides also. So, but yeah, in this two concepts have been clear. One is what is Hardy-Weinberg's principle, okay, and second one is which are the evolutionary forces. So questions can be asked in either way, and in this basic question you can see both have been asked. So either you have done Hardy-Weinberg principle, you know the answer, or either you have done evolutionary forces, you know the answer. Okay, so basically the answer is here itself. You have to just read the question carefully. Okay, and then you get your full 4 marks. Okay, so here you can see how many marks are there for this question. Okay, so this question basically you are scoring 4 marks.
Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel, and if you want more such interesting videos, please comment below.
Thanks for watching, and stay home, stay safe, stay happy.